Yeah. 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 Memories. Memories. Yeah. Memories. Memories.
And welcome back here to the GOATS tournament. While we did have that lovely grand finals action for you, we're pacing it back down. We're heading to the open division where anyone can compete. Of course, I cannot cast this alone still. I got Loki beside me, and we should have a pretty nice little match here on our hands.
Should be a lot of fun. Yeah, 5 goats, 1 penguin versus Arcadia goats. Both of them just coming off of matches of their own, so it should be very, very exciting to see the result of this one here. Bit of a switch up from our last match. This one is just a first to 2 map order, being control, then hybrid, and then assault. So if you are a 2CP fanatic, be hoping that we go 1-1 through these first 2 games.
Woo. Absolutely. I don't know why I'm yawning, because this GOATS action is just too exciting. But yeah, open division, obviously this is the one where there's a little bit more skin in the game. There's actually a prize pool to compete for at the end of it. So you got the teams who are really trying, really giving it their all. And, at the end of the day, it's GOATS, right? We know exactly what's going on. It's just a matter of how they want to play it. Especially considering since we are in round 3, if I'm not mistaken, Loki, our first map is going to be Ilios.
I think you are correct. It is, yep. Ilios is first for this round. So that's just standard round pick for all of the matches in this. So I think Ilios is going to be interesting, is really what that comes down to. We had Legion first last time, and that one was a really, really good map for seeing how different situations affect the teams. Ilios is very broad, or as I was, Lijiang is very broad. Ilios is a lot more solidified, I want to say. Doesn't range quite as broadly on its maps as something like Lijiang does. Well is a really good brawl map. Ruins, you can play dive or brawl. Same thing with Coast. You can be brawly if you want to be, just go straight to point. If you want to try to introduce a dive, you can. But unlike Lijiang, you can do pretty much whatever you want with all three maps. Lijiang is very locked down on all three of its map types.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of the nature of Lijiang. You can consider it a solved map, at least in terms of the Goats meta, but even thinking back to the variations of Goats, whether it was at pro level or lower back in the day, you know, if you were to ever see Winston compositions, it would primarily be on maps like Ilios, right? Because simply that dive has a lot of pressure, there's a lot of high grounds across the different points, as well as just it's a much faster way to traverse if you can get the whole team on board and going with it. But it kind of comes down to that mirror matchup again, right? Because if one team's playing Winston and the other team's playing Rein, you have to worry about how that matchup's going, as well as just sort of what support lineup you're running as well.
Absolutely. I mean, we saw that support lineup be super important in the last match, whether they're, you know, that was from playing the Ana, the Moira, or the Zen. That's where the big modifications come through on this comp, on this rule set. And so it's going to be interesting to see how those interact as well. Generally, Zenyatta has been the very good sustain, high damage DPS. Ana we've only seen so far with the Winston. Generally, you play them either 1 if you want to play Winston, or 2 if you want to go ahead and try and find that one ability that can win the whole fight. Moira for that quick ult charge and more aggression. They provide a lot of resources and a lot of big numbers, but it's hard to keep that healing bar high sometimes playing into Goats with all of the mitigation and shields. Here, though, both teams on Ruins are opting to just play standard Goats with that Zenyatta. No surprise there. This is probably the best brawl map on Ilios. So to pull it out here is where it, you know, would be expected to be. And we're starting out very, very quickly here. Already, Goats and Penguin is right to this point.
Yes, indeed. They're going to be the first ones to get a little bit of space on the point, and they have control of the Mega Health Pack. While it's not hacked or anything like that, just having that positioning advantage is big, but you're seeing the Brig try to go in, going a little too deep, some might say, paying for it with their life. So now a lot of healing taken out for Arcadia Goats. They're going to have to try to take a step back here, slowly reset, but you're seeing 5 Goats when Penguin does not want to let them reset. They're pushing this aggression, pushing this tempo, but they seem to actually be okay with the rest of the team walking out as long as it gets them the first point cap.
Yeah, so far here, not too terribly much. It's just that noise going up a little bit aggressively. Generally, you don't want your Brig going in front of your Reinhardt, and there they pay for that mistake. Early on here, though, Hammerpaw in sync, falling down. Didn't even really get through too much on that one. Recontest getting shut down before it even gets started. And going into this next fight here as a result, you're going to be really, really interested to see the ult charge out of everyone here on 5 Goats. Look at Evil looking for a little bit of a backline play. They don't have Shatter, though, so I'm not really sure what they're going for. But regardless, right to the next fight.
I was going to say, it's the style, it's the technique, it's the grandeur that you're always looking for. Noise, once again, falling super early. The grab bomb combo and managed to net them just a nice little Lucio kill. Nothing fancy, but it's exactly what you need here. So now, Evil getting super aggressive on this Rein. Doesn't need to commit the Shatter. They've already won the fight. They're just sending everybody back to spawn one at a time here. And Noise, I feel bad. I've never seen a Brig this bullied before. It's just over and over.
I really think they're just trying to do a little bit too much, trying to play a little bit too far forward. Your job as Brig isn't so much to be, you know, the person making the play as much as it's to just assist and be there when you're needed. I think Noise is trying to do a little bit too much right now. Is getting really, really punished by Evil as a result.
Indeed, a heavy ult fight coming up here, but it seems like instead of taking the fight, Arcadia Goats simply trying to take us to point here, but the Diva Bomb actually manages to find not one, but 2 supports here. Rally now being invested from 5 Goats, 1 Penguin, trying to keep everybody alive here, but unfortunately, it seems like they're all grabbed up. There's not actually a lot of follow-up damage coming here. 5 Goats, 1 Penguin with just a Brig alive, and Pengu's high damage is actually managing to turn this one here with quite a few picks. Sure, Arcadia Goats was able to get the point in all of that chaos, but they expended all of their ults and ultimately only for 11%.
Yeah, really interesting to see that fight going. It looks like Arcadia Goats is just a little bit disconnected in their rotation. It's allowing for a lot of damage on the backline. You're seeing the same thing here. Zenyatta gets left out all alone, and with the beat coming through, it's going to be interesting to see how Arcadia Goats can respond in this last fight.
Yes, indeed. The point pressure has to be applied, so the team is just naturally split. The Reinhardt on point, swinging for their lives, but Hammerpaw cannot do much against anything. Meanwhile, Pingu is simply tearing up the backline. The Zarya, the Brig, both claim to their name here, and it's just the cleanup coming on point. Beautiful split. 5 goats, 1 penguin, off to a really solid start.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like Arcadia is getting a little bit split here on a lot of these fights, and you really just can't get split in Goats. Like, the Goats it feels not great to be talking about, is the team together or not, but at the end of the day with Goats, you really do have to be. You've got to be stacked as 6 on top of your Reinhardt. And Arcadia Goats right now just isn't that during rotation. As a result, it's been really easy for 5 Goats, 1 Penguin to just jump in the middle of that split, carve out one side, then focus on the other. I mean, Tired having a really bad, or not Tired as I was, Extinction having a really bad day so far on those 2 last fight rotates. They just died before the fight even got started because they just weren't able to stay with the rest of the team. I mean, it's just... It's a cohesion issue right now on the side of Arcadia. Meanwhile, 5 Goats, 1 Penguin looking extremely cohesive throughout these first couple fights.
Yes, indeed. Sticking together is the name of the game. It's a death ball comp for a reason here, and now we're seeing everybody on 5 Goats, 1 Penguin stacked up, but it doesn't mean that you can save your Rhine here. Rhine's traded on both sides here. The D.Va mech is going to be taken out, so now it is 5 Goats, 1 Penguins. That is a pretty solid disadvantage here, but Pingu with high damage and that Discord turning the tides. That's all 3 supports down, and the Zenyatta is going to pick up the Zarya on the other side of it here. Just the D.Va left. I mean, this high charge Zarya Pingu seems to be bailing them out time and again.
I mean, that's why you gotta sometimes just put the ball in the hands of your Zarya. They used to be played by the hitscan DPS for a reason. It's the role that knows how to make plays in these high damage clutch situations. So far, Pingu is absolutely living up to that, and they already have a grab as a reward for their efforts.
Yes, indeed. The grab's going to be used. The Fire Strike thrown in. Going to be taking Noise out once again. But the rest of the team really able to sustain pretty well until finally the damage is just too much. It's just constantly coming a crescendo, if you will. And when you lose your Brig constantly, that's the best healing in the comp. There's nothing you can do.
I mean, yeah, Brig is who gives you the sustain, and Noise at the moment just not having the day I think they were hoping to have coming into this game. It's just so much damage going their way. They're extended a little bit more, and I don't think they know how to get the value that they need and get that Inspire proc while still playing a little bit further back, because they're just getting bullied at the moment. Oh,
Jump
no.
around the corner, the Shadow Bomb, it's beautifully set up. That's a phenomenal play here from 5 Goats, 1 Penguin, and that percentage is just going to keep ticking.
Yeah, it's looking like a pretty fast cap at the moment. Arcadia Goats, though, 6 ults on their side. Meanwhile, really the only thing we're looking from on Penguin is going to be that support line. Pingu, as always, has a grab up ready to go, but how much it's going to matter into the 3 tank ults on Arcadia's side is going to be a interesting gambit nonetheless.
Yes, indeed, the Shadow committed, doesn't gain anything, and Hannah Sophie actually eats the Graviton from Arcadia, so already the 2 ult expended for nothing gained. Same with the bomb as well here. They've actually expended all 5 of their ultimates, and they've gained nothing for it just yet, at least not a pick. Sure, they have some point pressure. They should be able to flip the point here, but now with Pingu, high charge going down once again, a Shatter puts everybody on their backs here, and it's just... it's first point all over again. You got a little bit of point percentage for your trouble, but you invested 5 ultimates and gained nothing for it.
Yeah, I think that's due to the huge grab by Pingu there. Pingu saw the aggression coming out from Arcadia, threw the grab to pin them all down, be like, yeah, you can press Q all you want, you're not going to be able to take advantage of any of it, though. And as a result, there's only 2, 3, 1. Do they have the touch? Yes, they do! Put right into the pit!
The Rhine into the pit. The Transcendence is now keeping everybody on Penguin alive here, and it is just slowly spelling disaster for Arcadia Goats. They're gonna need a miracle to come up here. That could be the miracle in question. The Brigitte falling to their own hands somehow, and Evil going down as well here. So now the Transcendence keeping everybody alive through yet another Pingu grab. This might be Arcadia Goats finally coming online with a bit of point percentage here. It's just the D.Va seemingly left with no resources to their name, and it actually will be a flip for Arcadia Goats. They're still in this one.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I don't super know what happened there. Brig seemingly forgetting where the pit was, and looks like Evil didn't perfectly line up that charge. As a result, Noise was able to stay alive and take the kill. And going into this last one, mostly neutral fight, only 2 ults on the table, which is not that much when you're playing in Goats.
Yeah, but the grab bomb combo is all you need as it takes down the Zen, puts the damage onto the rest of the team, and it's going to be more follow-up, more cleanup, and finally Arcadia Goats is building a little bit of momentum here as the Baby Eve is just slowly heading towards the well.
Yeah, I don't hate that fight though from Penguin. I mean, that's a good dry fight. Gets them, not too much time on the table. Gets 2 ults for their efforts and gets to charge up the rest of their support line ults. If I'm Penguin, I'm liking the position that I'm in right now. The main thing that I have to be worried about though is going to be this Shatter. If you can block that, you should be able to clean up the rest of this fight.
Yes, indeed. It's going to be the $64,000 question here. The Shatter game, both Ryans staring each other down, but there's actually a lot of pressure coming on the Hammerpaw, and he's ultimately going to fall. The Brig also was booped out of everything before that fight could even really begin here, and so the defense is just dismantling here for Arcadia Goats. Everyone's dropping their HP pools slowly but surely here. You have Transcendence Online. You should be able to touch the point with that unless you're just simply body blocked out. And it seems like that is going to be the case because 5 Goats, 1 Penguin will take Ilios.
In a very convincing way, too, I might add. I mean, really, the only fight that they struggled with and didn't lose basically on purpose is just like, hey, dry fight, let's just run and die quick, was the fight where the ledges were a problem. Both on the side of not pushing people off ledges and the side of pushing yourself into ledges there. You get, hey, when you aim at that perfectly as a Brig, you get 2 points in basketball, but 0 points in Goats. For dunking that shot. Going to the next one though, on to Hybrid. I wouldn't be surprised if once again we're sent right back to King's Row. It's the old classic, old reliable for a reason, especially in this Goats matchup. And here, 5 Goats, 1 Penguin looking incredibly dominant through those first 2 maps.
Yes, indeed. You can see why they named themselves 5 Goats, 1 Penguin, because Pingu on the Zarya, I mean, how many times was it just a high charge Zarya beaming through everybody, just doing crazy insane damage? And as you said, when Goats was sort of peak, right, the hit scan player was the one that always went over to the Zarya simply because the tracking felt right as well, but just they knew how to perform in these high pressure situations where it's on you to be the one to carry these fights, and Pingu's doing it flawlessly.
Oh yeah, I mean, if I have a hit scan that's Pengu right now, I'm very, very happy. They're seeming to know exactly when to step up and make the play, exactly where to be when they needed to. And the best part of it is they're not overextending themselves. When they don't need to be the person stepping up and winning the fight, making the play, and creating highlight reels, they just don't. They're able to step back. They're able to let the Rein breathe. They're able to let the team as a whole force the pressure. And then once the Rein dies and they know, hey, someone has to step up and be the main tank, it's me. They step up and make that play. And they've been incredibly consistent in it. It's always nice to see a team that can hand off the ball from one player to another when needed. And so far, Pingu is doing a really good job just kind of sitting in the backfield, waiting for the ball to be handed to them. And anytime it has been, they've made an incredible play.
Yes, indeed. And it's just kind of their overall synergy, being able to know where to put the ball, as you're saying, right? And it's just always in the position of the person with the most power. Tired picking up quite a few picks on the Zen there as well, so that's always something that is nice in Goats, right? You think back to the Goats meta when it was peak, right? You think of players like Jonak, who really reinvented how everybody viewed Zen, because it was like, oh, this isn't just another support, this is somebody who can deal consistent damage, do crazy amounts of damage even with just the correct Discord placement, as well as having tranquility for whenever the whole team just needs to get up to full health and stay there for a while. It's really, really crazy.
No, yeah. I mean, it's great to see. It's exactly what you want from a pretty solid team. And just like that, I do have confirmation that we are, in fact, going to King's Row. Old Reliable getting pulled out once again. Last time we saw King's Row be, the start in a 4-0 performance in our EU mid bracket. Gonna be wondering if it's the start of a closeout here for Penguins. They only need that one more win to make the Penguin happy, and this could be all they need. It is the map that everyone knows best for Goats, so if Arcadia just felt a little bit lost in the map knowledge, this might be the time that they can change that. However, I wouldn't be too surprised if Penguins was able to keep up their performance. We do have some quick little swaps. Noise going out for Suki here, switching out that Brig. Evil. Um, not sure what's actually going on there. And Redo is for Sync, also on the side of Arcadia Goats. So Arcadia Goats, lots of subs on their side trying to fix up their roster.
Yes, indeed. The confusion is we're seeing typing in match chat. I think both Reinhardt players are agreeing which London Spitfire skin to use.
Okay.
So they're swapping, or they're just agreeing on which Rhine skins they're using in general. So there's a swap to the London Spitfire away skin coming through for Hammerpaw. So that's something you should highlight. But yeah, no, it's just super interesting with Kings, right? Because as you said, it is comfortable. It is comfortable for you to be able to play Kings Row. You know it like the back of your hand. The downside being your opponent probably does. Everybody knows Kings Row, right? It's sort of a mutual agreement of comfort, you know. It comes down to respecting your opponent, respecting the Goats metagame, believing you can come out on top in that mirror, right? You probably won't see a lot of teams swap off of Kings Row unless they truly believe they can't win a flat-out match on Kings. That's when you might see some variations over to something like Hollywood, where you can see some Winston comps and stuff like that. But for the most part, for this whole tournament, I would not be surprised to see Kings Row selected for hybrid every single.
Yeah, no, not at all. I don't know how you pick anything other than Kings Row in a Goats tournament. It's Kings. I mean, come on. If you're not going to be playing on Kings, then what are you playing Goats for? That's where the magic happens. Should be very fun to see. We're just waiting on a little bit of final confirmations to get this next one moving and grooving. I personally want to see just for the fun of it, like Winston Ana first point. Why not? I mean, we saw Gaka pulled out in the EU Grand for mid tier. Why not pull it out too on first point here? I think Winston first point's really fun.
Oh, absolutely! It's super fun to see the Winston get busted out, but you know, I am not the biggest believer of the Ana goes, because yes, if you land the nade, it's absolutely massive. It'll win you a fight better than anything in Goats ever could, but that is such a large if, right? Because you have the D.Va defense matrix, Divas will watch out for it. You have Zarya bubbles to cleanse it. There's so many different ways that can go wrong. As well as Ana herself, you know, despite having a sleep dart, you know, it's not somebody like a Brig or a Lucio who can live really long, sustain themselves really well when they're in the mix or the thick of things. It's just somebody who you can run down super effectively, right? Ana loves to be able to play at range, play safe, and can't really do that.
Yeah, it doesn't look like I'm going to get my wish today. Both teams sitting on that Reinhardt, and neither team adopting for that Ana, just pulling out that Zen at the moment.
Should do stream sniping in the Twitch chat or the match chat. Guys, they're on Goats.
I think their starts might be a little bit delayed, but they seem to be correct with their predictions here. So we just roll straight into it. Arcadia Goats starting out here on the defense.
Yes, indeed. Now let's see if they can make this defense work for them here, as it is just going to be some nice casual back and forth poke here. But Hammerpaw already down here. That stun into the micro missiles is going to spell disaster for the Reinhardt here. Now Hannah Sophie getting their hands dirty in the kill feed. Wants to let it be known how much damage a D.Va can do, and that's just going to be potentially a fast point A cap.
Looks like it. I love the image of just a Reinhardt walking at you with shield up. I don't know that there's anything more terrifying in Goats than a Reinhardt holding right click and just walking at you and seeing the 5 people behind him ready to make your day very sad, as Hammerpaw's already falling low here.
Yes, indeed. That Discord is not removing it's just staying on constantly now and forever here. But this choke is one of the best chokes in the game for Goats, right? It gives the defense such a good option here. So now with the swinging back and forth starting, bold Zarya is expending bubbles, high charge. It's going to be Gravitons out on either side. Everybody's throwing every ult in the kitchen sink into this one, but it's going to be Hannah Sophie comboing with that grab beautifully. The bomb takes out 3, and that's going to be this offense getting the payload, moving past this choke here. And that's just some beautiful Goats fights right there.
Yeah, Transcendence can't keep you alive through a D.Va bomb, and so just like that, 5 Goats, 1 Penguin continues to roll in here. Evil getting ready to make a clip. The highlight reel ready. We're gonna see it on TikTok later if this one works.
Bumper is sitting in the wings somewhere watching, blessing,
Oh, no. They don't
blessing
know.
Evil with
They
this.
don't
They're
know.
not checking. They have
don't
no
know.
clue. They're unaware, and they're all on their backs at the hands of Evil. The follow-up is there. Pingu is dropping it, but the bomb actually from Redo is going to be able to take out the Lucio. Not much more than that gain, though. Actually, on the other side of it, Hammerpaw trying to get a cheeky little pin. Unfortunately, the health bar just evaporated after that point here. It's just going to be a simple chase down. And now that's going to be point B. Cat 5 goes 1 Penguin with a staggering time bang.
Yeah, 6 minutes on the clock. Keep in mind, you only get 4 more minutes just for capping point 1 and 2, so they've only expended 2 minutes getting to this third point. I think they've only fought 2 or 3 fights, won all of them. And so don't be surprised if that pace continues on this third point here.
Yes, indeed. What's not going to be surprising as well as this grab bomb combo. It's online once again for 5 Goats, 1 Penguin. Question is, can they execute it once more, especially with Arcadia Goats having the Transcendence and stuff online? We're seeing the brawl back and forth here. Vitrid is going to be the first one to go down, surprisingly enough. And again, the grab with the bomb, it gets 1, but 1 is enough most of the time. The Brig now falling. That cart is still moving here. There's got to be a regroup in the spawn for Arcadia Goats. They got to figure it out.
Well, Evil's touching spawn door, and so objective completed. You've got the bounty for it, I suppose. Beat out Shatter L, but nothing down for it.
Yes, indeed. The Shatter doesn't gain anything, and that's going to be the advantage for this defense here as they try to get a foothold going. They've invested the rally. They've invested the beat here, even having to give up their Lucio for it. But it seems like a hold should finally be coming through here for this defense. But the Rhine dropping incredibly low. Somebody's got to make sure Hammerpaw is okay here, and it's going to be the grab from Yokon that might be the thing doing that. It is going to take out Pingu on the other side. Massive threat down here, and now both teams are just choosing to re-engage, actually, surprisingly enough. Hanazofi takes out Hammerpaw, so no Rhine in with a rally behind them. It's going to allow Evil to get super, super aggressive here, but you're seeing just the pressure that a Discord Orb applies. The Transcendence being forced out now. Arcadia Goats having to stall once again, despite being at a one-person advantage. It gives Pingu time to get back, but not before being put on their back. But all of that health from the rally means everybody's okay. Everybody's alive. Evil dropping incredibly low here. The Diva Bomb being forced out from Redo, but it does manage to catch Cavo. So now there's a one-man advantage once again. Make that 2, and this defense, after a long staggered out fight, is going to be able to hold.
Finally, Arcadia Goats finds a fight win on King's Row. Takes them 5 minutes in order to grab it there, but eventually they do. And with that 5 minutes coming off the back of about a 1 minute 30 fight, just kept on going. And now into this next one, 5 Goats, 1 Penguin. Fully reloaded. Only the Penguin doesn't bring their ult into this one. The Goats are locked and ready.
Yes, indeed. The Diva Bomb into the backline is going to be able to kill the Zen here. The Transcendence on the other side, keeping all of 5 Goats, 1 Penguin nice and healthy here. But the Shatter does not stop them all from hitting the ground, combined with the Diva Bomb. The beat gets off barely in time thanks to a bubble. It's going to mean that everybody is able to live through that one. Hanazofi is able to take down Hammerpaw here. So again, the Rhine is missing from the action, and now the Brig is falling next. Simply Evil just holding the shield, waiting for backup to arrive to get this Diva's damage off of them. And then the backup does arrive indeed here. So now with the pin in, it's already grabbed up. Hammerpaw just coming out of spawn immediately into more chaos, more pin action. It's now going to be up to Yokon. This high charge Zarya building close to a grab could be the hero that this team needs, but there's just not a lot of damage you can do through the Rhine shield. Finally poked down by Pingu. Pingu's high damage, high sustain. It's absolutely ludicrous. Pinning in for the 3rd time this fight is going to be Hammerpaw, but immediately not a lot you can do when Evil's on the other side swinging, dropping shatters. The stall attempt is there, but unfortunately it is just that. It is an attempt. No one can get to the cart, and it is a minute 56. 5 Goats, 1 Penguin to full cap.
I think my favorite play in that sequence is the beat there to counter out the Diva Bomb. If you time it properly, you can be point blank on a Diva Bomb and survive it as Lucio. You've got to get it like frame perfect on the beat, but you can in fact do it. And trying to get that timing is probably one of the most fun things you can do as a Lucio. One of the things that I miss most about Goats and about, dual tank meta being a main support player, is trying to beat D.Va bombs. There, we see them sending it all the way back to like 2017 and doing it perfectly. The timing, the muscle memory, still there for 5 Goats 1 Penguin as they're ready to pull out an insane play. Credit to Cavo there for being ready for that situation.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. You don't get that beat off, you're probably losing 2-3 members, including yourself, to that D.Va bomb, and your offense starts to get stifled a little bit more. But now we are looking for Arcadia Goats to try to make something of their offense here, because again, these first early rounds of this tournament, they are only first to 2, so you don't want to walk away with another extra loss if you don't have to. So gotta try to piece something together here for Arcadia Goats.
Absolutely. They've got 2 minutes on that clock. That means only 6 minutes taken in order to find that cap. And a pretty impressive pace all the way until 3rd point. That's really the first time that they found a stall. Arcadia Goats are only able to win 1 fight that entire defense, and it was on that 3rd point. Here, Extinction doesn't find the rotate. That's his second verse, same as the first, again and again.
Yes, indeed. It's unfortunate, but the show must go on, but the show seems to be closing its curtains already, at least for this first fight here. It sucks when the Zen just like, alright, I'm gonna float into the hotel, and just slams his head into the pillar, wondering why he's not with us.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems to be rotations that are the problem for Arcadia Goats time and time again on this attack. There's the same thing on Ilios, where anytime they tried to do a rotation really more complicated than just walk at the other team, they really just got so disconnected during it.
Yes, indeed, but disconnect is happening again here as Hammerpaw just takes a step too far, and that's going to be another fight just going super, super quickly here. Evil getting the shield behind the other line, making sure the heals don't come through, and that's just another fight gone.
I think this is the first time that Pingu hasn't been the first person to have their ult in a game, only at 90%. How dare they get passed by a Reinhardt and a D.Va who can charge it much, much easier and faster. And right as I say that, though, they are going to actually be ready for this next one.
Yes, indeed. Speaking of ready, the D.Va bomb's going in. What comboed with it? Doesn't seem like anything needs to be comboed, actually, as it's just going to take the Zen out of the fight once more here. And the gravity from Redo onto Pingu's grab means that nothing's going to come through here. So now there's a bit of a poke war back and forth. Both teams just simply trying to look for an advantage here. It's going to be a very interesting grab. Holds Evil onto the wall, but there's no follow-up here. Now the beat is going to allow 5 Goats 1 Penguin to get super aggressive on this defense here. And it is going to mean that Pingu is able to take out their opposite number in Yokon. And the question is, does the Shatter get committed, or do you accept the one fight and do you just back up?
I think you just back up here. I mean, you've got to get something ready for the next fight at the end of the day. You're in ult disadvantage, especially. But the story of the game, time and time again, is just Extinction's having a bad day. They're dying first almost every fight. And that means Arcadia Goats has like 30% less DPS than 5 Goats 1 Penguin.
Yes, indeed. Arcadia Goats using their ults to their advantage here, getting super, super aggressive, tired, having to use the Transcendence to try to just keep everybody alive, keep everybody sustained, and it's being mirrored on the other side here. So now 5 Goats 1 Penguin has to just weather the storm, but the question is, are they able to do it? And it seems like the answer is yes, because Suki is now the first one to go down, and slowly but surely, thanks to the damage from these off tanks, it's going to turn the fight in their favor. The Zarya is trying her best to get out with his energy, but Yokon just can't do it. So now the D.Va going to be running back to spawn here as we're dipping to the minute mark here. Arcadia Goats, they gotta get something rolling.
Arcadia Goats 1 minute towards elimination. 5 Goats 1 Penguin 1 minute towards victory here, and the ults are on the side of 5 Goats 1 Penguin. With how long these Goats fights can go, it really seems like this might be last fight, last opportunity here to have a non-scrambling fight where you're trying to touch.
Oh, but the bomb thrown into the backline is perfectly positioned. Redo is able to pick up 2, but on the other side of it, Redo gives their life to the bomb as well. But it seems like it's all finally paid off. Arcadia Goats should be able to get this point unlocked with some beautiful damage coming out from Extinction. It's just going to be the Zen trying to survive, tired. Can only live for so long here, and that should be first point finally unlocked for Arcadia Goats. They got to make up the time there.
I mean, hey, right when you need the play to happen, there they are, stepping it up. It's been the off tank all day long. Redo this time for Arcadia Goats. It's been Pingu for 5 Goats 1 Penguin. And here, doesn't look like we're getting an arch fight, perhaps? Trying to play it a little bit forehand, not have to worry about getting through the arch. But that means they're going to be playing a person down. Hammerfall falls low. Can they get out of this situation?
And they get out of the situation, and they drop a massive shatter after blocking the other one. The Transcendence trying to keep everybody alive, but he's actually pinned the Transcendence away! Oh my goodness, that allows the damage to come through, but unfortunately it's just not enough. 5 Goats 1 Penguin still decides that we're just going to take everybody out. Pengu lighting up the kill feed. That Zarya is doing so much work. And now it's just another spawn hold in a different way.
At the end of the day, if I had to choose between not having a Rein and not having a Trancing Zen, I think I'd make the trade to not, make the other team not have a Rein, honestly. That's a winnable trade, especially when you have a high damage Pengu ready to just cleave through your team.
Yes, indeed. Now, Vitroid getting a little bit in on the action before being taken out by a massive Diva Bomb from Hannah Sophie. These Diva Bombs have been massive all day, and they're going to keep being that way. Everybody being stuffed back into spawn here. So even though Vitroid does get the one pick, it's just not going to matter, at least for the moment here. But they got to find some footing.
Yeah, they do indeed. KD Goats here opting for the high rotate now. 5 Goats 1 Penguin on this low ground. KD Goats with a massive ult advantage here. I forget about 4, almost 5 coming into this fight.
Yes, indeed, and they got to see if they can make these ults work for them. It's going to be the grab out either side here. Unfortunately, doesn't seem to net anything for either side, so now rallies coming out from Suki and the other side as well. Both teams dropping it, but unfortunately, the Diva Bomb comes through first. Redo doing an absolute lot, but the shatter from Evil is just simply larger, even after losing 2 members. Still deciding, no, we can win this one, we can commit to this fight. And 5 Goats 1 Penguin, somehow, some way, they hold.
Looks like we're going to have
I'll
pause in just a moment. There it is. So we
Listen.
get to see our beautiful faces once more before we get down into what is most likely the final fight. Assuming 5 Goats 1 Penguin wins it, there's only time for one more loss on Arcadia Goats side. 40 seconds left on that clock. It is do or die time. So far, they've performed in that do or die situation. Whether that continues or doesn't, who's to say?
I mean, yeah, but there's only so many times. Like, if you can consistently perform in do or die, that's great. But there's only so many times you can get down to that situation and come out on top before your luck just simply runs out. Something's gonna, and who knows? It could be the flight disconnect here from, I believe it was Yoko. Internet issues are a thing. I disconnected earlier. We all know things happen. It's a very interesting little situation we have here for Arcadia Goat.
I don't know if on this code or not, if you disconnect, if you come back with your ult charge. I'm going to assume that you don't. We'll see whether you do or not. I think in this situation, though, it's not looking great if you're Arcadia Goats, because you have to try and break back through that arch. And that arch is incredibly, incredibly powerful. We see a lot of times teams don't really go for the recontest on first point because they know that they have that arch right there that they can try to contest, which is basically a 1.5 point tech that you have to get through, and it can be brutal regardless of what you're up against, regardless of your ult charge. And here, with 40 seconds left, if I could choose about the worst place on this map to be, it would be right where Arcadia Goats is.
I mean, yeah. Your only hope is probably to attempt another high ground rotation like you did, right? When they came through that high ground, they were able to take note of, hey, 5 Goats 1 Penguin, they got off of the arch, they went back to bookstore, and that could be your angle, right? Even if you notice that they don't get off of that, you can just simply rotate all the way around. You have 43 seconds, so you do have time for one rotation like that, but that's going to have to be your full commitment. So you have to be confident enough to lock that in and just be able to run with it regardless of whatever comes, because it's your last shot, right?
Absolutely. This is all what it comes down to. One chance, one opportunity. Everything right here, just waiting for that one reconnect to get us back up, moving and grooving.
Grooving like the Lucio.
Yeah. Did you play back in original Goats?
I did. I one trick to Brig to Diamond, and
let's go, fellow Brig players in the chat. Our producer is not as big of a Brig fan as they most likely should
Listen,
be.
I earned my diamond totally legitimately, did not get boosted in a goat stack. I swear, do not check my profile. The records don't exist anymore anyway. But yeah.
Yeah, I love Brig. I am always going to love Brig. I think Brig is probably the most fun hero in goats, even against like Zarya or something. But that's just because I think Shield Lady is the best.
See, most fun for me, like, it's just because it, like, you know, if you think back to goats, right, all of these crazy aggressive, all of the flashy plays, the shatters, you know, it truly was just Reinhardt getting to have fun, be unleashed, because it was pretty much an entire comp built around, hey Ryan, we're gonna give you an orb, we're gonna give you armor packs as you need, here's a bubble, just go to town, buddy, swing that hammer, do what you gotta do. And it felt so fun to just be the Ryan in that situation, because there was never really a way you could be bad. Like, unless you just didn't swing your hammer, you just held shield, you would always get some sort of value.
Yeah, I mean, I love Inspire. I think we are going to go to a short break though while we work out this technical issue. So don't go anywhere. I'll be right back with the conclusion of this game. It should be an interesting one.
And welcome on back after our brief little pause. Bit of technical issues here means that we are going to have a mid-match substitution. Not normally allowed, but our lovely head rammer has blessed the swap, and so it just means we're down Azaria, up Azaria now, because I think it's Sync that's coming in.
I believe so, yes.
So it'll be really interesting here as we get back into game. You know, like we said, 43 seconds left on the clock, Arcadia. You know, even with a swap like this, you gotta just mentally reset. You gotta figure something out, because you got one rotation, one fight.
Absolutely. Should be right into it just now on cue. As we roll on through, it is going to be Sync on that Zarya. Losing the ult charge isn't great, but with 30 seconds left on the clock, not the biggest worry, I don't think. Oh, all right, losing both the Zarya and the D.Va ult charge, as Sync has swapped onto the D.Va now as well. So, Arcadia go, it's 30 seconds in a dream here.
30 seconds in a dream, they're able to get the 5 goats 1 penguin off of the choke, which is really nice here, and you're seeing just the level of aggression they're displaying. Hammerpaw drops incredibly low here, but the D.Va bomb means that there's just going to be too much damage. Evil is going to get that pin going through and through. Now the Shatter putting everybody on their back here, and it seems like we paused for 43 seconds, unfortunately for nothing, because 5 goats 1 penguin, they just were simply ready that whole time. They had the Shatter in the back pocket, and they will take this round 3 in a 2-0 fashion.
Good game indeed, but a dominant one for 5 goats, 1 penguin. Coming through clutch here at the end.
Hannah Sophie got way too many bomb kills.
No.
There was so many in this match.
Absolutely wild how many they did. Like, that's just wild. Thank you to Head Rammer for getting that one, continuing to move on along. With that, though, I believe that is the end of our side of the broadcast for the day. I think that's all the side of the EU as well, as Live 1 should be finishing up at around this time. So, do you have any final thoughts for the day, Mega?
No, it's just, you know, this was just day 1, so make sure to tune in tomorrow for more EU action. But if you're just ready for more GOATS action, kicking back off in about 2 hours is going to be the NA side of things. There's a lot of games that are going to be happening over there, so make sure you tune in, hit that button, make sure that you catch all of the CL podcast. But I think other than that, we are happy. Hopefully y'all have a good, happy rest of your Saturday. I kind of forgot what day it was, but that worked out. And we will see y'all next